All right, Mike, just, yeah, give us the update about where you guys stand going into the regionals, what's really at stake for you and whatnot.
Yeah, so this weekend will be the NCAA regional meet. It'll determine who advances to the national championships in Sacramento 2 weeks later. So heading down there with 8 women and 5 guys. On our men's side, I think just looking to finish higher than we did last year. Looking for some significant improvement. I think we have the ability to do that. I think Jacob Jensen and Ryan Kohler, they're more 10K guys, which is what the postseason distance is. So I think they should be in the front for us. Hopefully they can finish higher than our top guy last year, and then obviously we finish higher as a team. On our women's side, we are ninth heading into the region. Top 3 teams will advance to the NCAA championship. So I feel like anything can happen on the day. We have as good a chance as the 8 teams ahead of us. I think we're Mary and Augustana. I think have pretty much a chokehold on the top 2, but that third spot, I think it's pretty much open and up for grabs. So we've talked about it. What needs to be done. I think we'll have to have some things go our way and some things not fall someone else's way. And but I certainly think we have the people that can get it done, and we can see ourselves on the starting line 2 weeks later.
So despite being listed ninth going in on the women's side, I mean, you guys have exceeded your expectations pretty much all season. Is that pretty much the main source of your confidence going into this weekend?
For sure. Yeah, I think we have 3 women heading down there this weekend that were on the team last year, and they know the state of the program and where it was just a year ago. So for us to just be in the discussion, I think is huge. Some of our freshmen and new people, this is all they know. So they think this is normal, I guess. But for our returners, they understand how big of a deal this is for us to go from 28th last year to being ranked 9th and hopefully finishing much higher as a team come Saturday. I think it's been a huge source of confidence for those people, knowing the leaps and bounds that we've taken as a team.
So just with where the program is at right now, is there anything that could happen this weekend that could disappoint you guys at all, or is this just freaking gravy right now?
Yeah, I think there's 2 sides to that. I think everything is gravy. We were, like I said, 28th last year, and so I think to finish top 10 this weekend, whether we're 3rd, 9th, 10th, whatever it may be. If we're not 3rd, I think, there'll be some disappointment. Obviously, I think all 8 of those women want to keep their season alive and, advance to Sacramento. But at the same time, I think when you put it all into perspective, where we were, not even close to being in the discussion last year, I think for me as a coach, it's just, there's a lot of be very proud of them, of how far we've come. So I think there's 2 sides to that, and we'll try to keep it all in perspective no matter what the outcome is. But we're pretty much shooting for the stars, come Saturday at 10 a.m.
Coach, so far this season, you've kind of talked about some of your younger runners being a little naive to the competition. Do you think now that it comes to regionals, do you think that they're more aware of who they're running against, or do you think they're still a little bit naive and they're just going to go out and run?
I think it's maybe 50-50. I think they know who the major players are, the major teams are. I think they know, what they need to do on Saturday. At the same time, I think for some of them it's their first regional championship. I think they understand the magnitude of what's on the line, but we said yesterday and right before practice that we can only control what we can control. We can only prepare ourselves. We can't determine what the other teams are doing. So at the end of the day, I think there is still a little bit of naiveness, like there's 2 other conferences in our region that we don't see probably 70% of the time, so they have no idea about those schools or who those runners are. Obviously, we know the Winonas and the Duluths and the Marys and the Augies of the conference, but there's probably 6 other teams that we have seen maybe once. So I think a little bit about that is playing into our advantage of we don't know maybe how good a Pitt State is or Missouri Southern, which is they're in the MIAA, and they're just going to go out and race them because to them they're just another girl that they know they need to beat.
How about the course itself? Have the girls run this before? Or did
Yeah, we were down there in September. Guys and girls were down there in September. For the women, it was 5K, and for the men, it was 8K at the time. But we did see the course. There's not a whole much. The layout isn't much different this time around. The women will run 6K, so there's like an added loop, I guess, and the men will run the 5K course twice. But we certainly know what we're getting into. We've told both sides that, ironically, this is where they ran their fastest during the regular season. So I think that's given us a lot of confidence heading into Saturday, especially on the women's side. That's where they pretty much ran their season best for 5K when we went down there in September. So I think that's been a huge booster and confidence to them heading into Saturday.